I would have slapped him. Oh, hello. Welcome back to the I'm About It podcast. And oh my God, last episode of season 6 of Love is Blind, one of the most chaotic episodes I've ever had to watch, but at the same time, very predictable. I don't know how to explain it. Actually, I think I do. Let me just start with this. So I'm going to tell you guys some tea. The reason why it took me some time to record this, because there's been so many things that has come out ever since, actually in between the episodes, during the episodes, that I feel like I need to disclose with you guys. Even though a lot of people around me are asking me to sign up for Love is Blind Toronto, because yes, I'm in Canada. I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm not. Spoiler alert, you may want to fast forward. Some of what I'm going to say next might be spoilers, but not really. So if you just want to get to my recap of the last episode, you can fast forward. So I do want to talk about so many things that are happening, like so much information that's been kind of, that are around the show. Number one, let's disregard the fact that Jeremy, was kind of still engaged to a woman and her kid. And then sold a house right before he got into Love is Blind. Apparently everybody knows about that. And then you have Trevor, who was Chelsea's actually number one choice in the pods. And he was actually had a girlfriend. In fact, he was dating a girl while all of this is happening. He was telling her sweet nothing to her ear. He was telling her that, oh, don't worry, I'm not in love with her. The text message, his ex has showcased the text message between him and her and Trevor all throughout her Instagram, all throughout social media. Let's put that aside, because that's old, okay? Like, Trevor being a homewrecker. And honestly, Trevor, I thought you were more good looking. I've been seeing some pictures and I'm like, ew. And Trevor was actually blackmailing the girlfriend that he had during this entire time while filming the show, because he didn't want her to showcase all of the things that he's been telling her and blackmailing her by threatening her to stop. And if she continued, he said that he would release some intimate videos and photos that they took together. Kind of disgusting. Number 3. Whoa. Kenneth? Mr. Principal? Well, people are saying that he's gay. Yeah, let me say this again. The black guy? The black tall guy that broke up with Brittany? The Mr. Principal at 25? People are saying that he's gay. Why come on and show if you're questioning your sexuality? Is that just me? Is that weird? The next thing. Jessica, who used to be Jimmy's number 1 or number 2 rather, was dating Harry Styles, but Harry Jowsey from, I think, Too Hot to Handle. They were dating for quite a bit apparently last year, or they're still dating now. Good for her. I think she can do better, because I do think she's a good person, honestly, in my opinion. But the trailer of Love is Blind for the reunion kind of looks like she kind of, I don't know. Next, people are saying Netflix paid AD and Clay to continue to stay on the show, because it was quite clear to anybody who had eyes and ears, a 5-year-old can figure out that Clay was not going to marry this girl. And he said it in every which way possible, 10 times an episode. Because he knew that he was not going to marry this girl, AD, the rumors going around, and it's alleged, the producers of Love is Blind, or Love is Blind, Netflix paid Clay to continue to stay on, because if Clay dropped and did not want to marry AD, that meant that it would have just been Johnny and Amy on the show, and they didn't want that. So rumor has it that Netflix paid Clay to stay on the show. I don't believe they're saying that they also paid AD, but if they paid AD to stay on the show, that means that she must have had like amazing acting classes, because that girl's life, she felt like her heart was trampled upon. She looked like physically, emotionally, mentally distraught. So there's no way there was no amount of money that would have forced her to continue to stay. And let's start talking about, and I'll start with there. Let's start talking about Clay and AD. Because the only way that if that rumor's true, that she would have stayed with the extra money, is if Clay told her behind the scenes, I know, no matter what, baby, I love you, blah, blah, I love you, I'm going to marry you. That's the only way. That's the only way I'm seeing it, right? That's the only way. Is if he told everybody that oh, I don't love this girl, but he told AD, oh, you know what, I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna say yes at the altar. That's the only way if that rumor is true. So let's talk about Clay and AD. Actually, no, that should be last, in my opinion. Let's talk about Chelsea and Jiminy Cricket. So we left with the cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger was, okay, he wasn't, we were kind of unsure if Chelsea was going to marry Jimmy, and we all said, oh my God, Chelsea isn't, gonna say, I thought she was gonna say no, or what ended up happening is she was feeling out Jimmy and seeing how he reacted to her answer, and she said yes, not because she honestly feels she should marry him, but because she wants to please him. She wants to please him. And that's why there's a long pause. I really do think that there was an actual long pause, but I don't know why Jimmy reacted in the way he did, because it honestly, during that long pause, it does seem like Jimmy wanted her to say yes. And then after the pause and she said, yes, I'll marry you, he said no to her. It is the most wild situation. Jimmy is like, oh, you want to marry me? Oh, you want to marry me? Oh, it's okay. I don't want to marry you. Like, it's so, you saying yes to me, girl? Jimmy basically said, you say yes to me, girl? Well, I'm saying no to you. Okay. I do feel like they're so toxic to each other. They're so toxic. And they bring out really the worst in each other. And I really do, Jimmy really brings out the worst in Chelsea, but I really do think she's kind of like made that way, in my opinion. And I really hope she brings the receipts of her therapy to the reunion, because there's no freaking way we're believing that you had therapy, girl. We don't believe you. We don't believe you. There's also rumors that Chelsea and Jimmy is still together. I don't think so. I do think that they're friends, and they may have mutual friends, and they maybe have mutual people who are engaged, and they probably go to each other's wedding. I don't think they're together. I really do think they're friends, and that when you go through something, this type of experience with somebody, and you bond, the way you bond with that person, the bond between that person is quite strong. It's quite unique. It's quite different from anybody else's relationship. The way people went through Love is Blind is a very unique experience. I heard that when you go on Love is Blind, you have to remove your passport, give your passport, your phone, your ID. You can't contact anybody. You're basically locked into these weeks or months with Netflix, and just hope for the best. And that's why there's been a lot of lawsuits, even lawsuits involving RAPE, which is kind of crazy. And that lawsuit is actually coming from last season. So, okay, so Chelsea then is really mad at Jimmy, and I get why. She, of course, I'm expecting that she's gonna be mad, because she's like, oh my God, I said yes and you're saying no. It seems like you wanted me to say yes, so I said yes. So I definitely see why she's upset, because she doesn't want to feel humiliated on camera, because I don't really think Chelsea loved him, and I don't think Jimmy loved Chelsea. I think she just wants to get married like everybody else, like AD, and she was gonna settle for this guy, even though he wasn't Mr. Perfect and wasn't acting the way that she wants him to act, even though he was honestly acting pretty good. And so she's distraught because she feels humiliated, not because she feels like she should marry him, in my personal opinion. Now, the reason why Jimmy is not getting married to Chelsea is because she talked about a secret that she then brought on camera. That shouldn't be the reason why you should marry somebody, in my opinion. And that's something that honestly that could be worked through. Jimmy should have just flat out said, I don't love you. You lied to me in the pods. I'm a physical talk. Like, be actually honest. I don't think Jimmy ever loved this woman. Chelsea has the right to be right. Like, Chelsea had a good position to stand on when it came to that argument, which was, you shouldn't be texting your friend who you once had sex with. So that's weird. Even though me personally, I know a lot of guys. I don't know a lot of guys personally, but I actually don't have a lot of guy friends. But I know I would honestly be okay and secure with my man having a best friend, having a girl as a best friend, because people are best friends for all different sorts of reasons and bond during all different types of situations in their life, whatever gender they end up having. So as long as there's no lines and there's mutual respect and they both do not like each other in that way, and they're clear about that, and I would honestly be okay with that if that girl who ends up being, who's, let's say, the best friend, is in a relationship with her man, right? So, or her woman, whatever. So Chelsea does have the right to be mad with the fact that he's always calling and texting this girl. However, like he said, that is his best friend. So that ended, but it ended, like, I really did think that both of them would honestly go to the altar. I really do think that they would have had their answer at the altar. And it's interesting too, all throughout Netflix. It's interesting too because Netflix has changed this season. Let me know. Was it always this way in which contestants can say no or yes before they reach the altar? Was it always this way? I honestly thought that everybody had to reach the altar and say yes or no. But people are dropping like flies in this season. So maybe they changed an agreement or something, which is interesting. Their end of their relationship was quite predictable, but the way it ended was obviously very chaotic. Let's go on to Johnny and Amy. So Johnny and Amy, very beautiful. I honestly thought that Amy would say no and Johnny would say yes, but they both say yes. I'm really happy for them. I really hope they're still together. And honestly, I don't know how they're going to deal with the fact that Johnny wants a woman who's on birth control. I don't know, but it's kind of like a massive red flag for me. But it was really like my nose is so itchy, I don't know why. It was really, their wedding was really cute, and seeing their father really choke up and say those sweet words to Johnny and Amy was really touching. And honestly, I really wish I had the chance to do that too. My father passed away a few years ago now, so watching scenes like that involving fathers is just really hard for me. But I definitely cried when Amy's father was saying that his daughter finally met the one, and I'm really happy for them. If they're happy, I'm happy. You know what I mean? And you know what? The way Johnny looked at Amy when she first came out is a way a husband's supposed to look at their wife, which is, oh my God, you look beautiful. I have the best wife in the world. You look gorgeous. Not what Clay did to AD, which is, okay, buddy. I've never heard Clay in the entire season of this show talk about anything that's not AD's body. You know what I mean? Like, you're smart, you're loyal, you're kind, you're patient, you're hardworking, compassionate, ambitious. I've never heard Clay say anything like that. Only, okay, buddy. Okay, back. So I'm going to move on by talking about Clay and AD. Look, Clay and AD's relationship is one of those relationships where I've never really understood, because if anybody just watched the last 3 episodes of this season, people would honestly believe that every single couple in this couple was in love. The first 9 episodes of this season, everybody were on different pages. Clay was not going to marry this woman. He never looked in love. He never talked anything good about AD except for her body. And AD looked like she was in love. She didn't really look in love on vacation, but she looked in love when they came back to the hotels, which I don't know what happened during that time, in between that time. AD was clearly in La La Land, only so she can have a ring on her finger and say that she's a wife. She's so desperately wants to get married that she would settle for a guy who kept telling her, I do not want to get married. And she was right. She wasn't enough for him. She wasn't. Because even after they said no at the altar, AD said to the producers on camera, he's not in love with her. And he didn't like her finances or whatever. That's enough reason to get married. If I find a man who adores me and loves me, I don't care, for the most part. I don't care for the most part how much he makes, in my opinion. I don't care how much you make. As long as you're making, the same amount as me or more, I don't care. It's hard enough to find a man. It's hard enough to find a partner. And you know what he said? He said in the trailer, spoiler alert, in the trailer for the reunion, he said, you want to fast forward, he made a big mistake and AD was the best love of his life. AD is one of the greatest, like one of up with like Cameron the first season and Brett and Tiffany. So those three couples, AD is a great woman. Amazing. She's patient. She's smart. Like the sentences, how she spoke in the pods, you can tell she's a highly educated woman. And I'm surprised that she is working at a club, but I'm then not surprised that she's also a real estate agent. So for me, it was interesting to see how that worked out with Clay, because Clay seemed like he was coming off like a fuckboy, but he wants to be a man that has more substance, and he did not give. But here's the thing though, he obviously wasn't clearly ready anyways, and I don't know why you would come on the show. However, there was a TikTok that was released by this guy who applied for Love is Blind, and he lived in Raleigh, but the show was filming in Charlotte, and so he's an Asian guy, and he said that he applied, but he didn't apply. Like somebody reached out to him, a casting director from Netflix, and they sent him an intake form, and all of the questions on the intake form was about how you want your other partner to look, you know, height, skin color, hair, whatever. Nothing of substance, like, oh, what are your values in life? What are your goals in life? You know, what are your priorities? What makes you character, things like that, right? So he wasn't able to get on the show because he lives in a different city. I think he said 2 hours away. But I think that's why Clay is here. Clay, and which I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes, but Clay is here because we still have to talk about Clay's parents. Child. Clay is here because he's here to make us entertained. He's not here to show us that love exists. Clay is here to tell us that I did it. You guys watch from beginning to end. You guys are obsessed. You guys are obsessed with me. We'll come back to that. So Clay and AD, and it's interesting because like even in the confessionals, even in, you know, the producer asking him questions throughout the season, he kept saying, "Oh my God, I really want to make this work. I really like this girl." Da da da. Even to his homeboys, in his suite just before he gets married and they're getting ready. Oh, you know, I'm a different person now. You guys see I'm a different. How are you a different person? How are you a different person? Because you came on Love is Blind, you're a different person? I don't see how you've grown. I don't see how you've changed since the first episode. In fact, you've gotten worse, in my opinion. I don't understand that. So anyways, he kept saying, "Oh my God, I'm grown. I can't believe I'm doing this. You guys would never believe I'm doing this. Right, guys? Right, boys? My boy, bro. And then he gets to the altar. He says no. Even at the altar, while he's saying no to AD, he's holding AD's hand. AD is bawling and saying, "Why the fuck are you doing this?" He tells her, "But why are we even doing this? Like, why are we getting married?" And AD, do you guys remember? AD goes, stop. You're holding my hand. I'm in a wedding dress. You're telling me why are we getting married? This is Love is Blind. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I get it. This is Netflix. You're on a TV show, but you're here to get married. But here's also, we'll come back to that as well. So let's go to Clay's parents. I really do not think the conversation that Clay's mom had with her ex-husband needed to happen on camera. That stuff was so damaging to Clay's dad. But rightfully so, I guess you guys would say. But the way Clay dragged his parents from episode to episode and say, "Oh, my examples that I've had in life where they're a bad parent. They're bad to each other. I've never had a loyal relationship around me. My dad has had girl to girl to girl to girl." Even if that's happening to me, I would never bash my parents. I would not bash my dad, even though my dad, even if it never happened, but even if that happened to me, I would not, like, it's not the world's business to know about my parents' affairs. And the fact that Netflix aired their conversation, look, Clay's mom is a very wise woman. And you can tell, and the grace and the humility that she showed while talking to her ex-fiance, who it looks like cheated on her in every which way, and even brought Clay along to his cheating escapades. I mean, Clay's dad seems really remorseful, really, really, really remorseful. It's so sad. I just don't think it was right for them to have that conversation, or even on camera, because it's not our business. It is not our business. However, I do think that Clay's parents are not talking to Clay in the way that he needs to be talking to. Like, he needs to, like, the way AD's mom talked to Clay, I need Clay's parents to talk to Clay. Our business, our romantic affairs have nothing to do with you, child. Have nothing to do with you. If we end up being separated or divorced, it has nothing to do with you. You should still be able to have a loving, fulfilling, satisfying, romantic marriage full of love and hope and peace. Because we did once. They did have one. There were years in which they were both happy, Clay's parents. And that's where therapy comes in. Therapy. Like, I can't even sing it in the way I want to sing it, because I'm just like, so this entire season is so irritating. Like, my nose is right now, like the way I'm scratching my nose is the most annoying thing. It's so irritating. I have no words. Like, it's just so irritating. AD. The way AD responded to the no. You can tell she's clearly in La La Land. Her heart damaged. Her mind confused. Her mental state in disrepair. But there must have been something that we didn't see and hear in this season. Obviously, the producers edited this like it's gonna be given to it like freaking Oscars or something. You know what I mean? Edited to the wazoo. There must have been something, because what's going on, AD? How are you like this distraught when this man is saying no to you? And the only way I can cuff it up to is the fact that AD loved this man. For some reason, I don't know. We don't see it. But she loved him. She loved him, and she gave him everything she got. She loved him. She loved him so much. And you can tell. And the fact that she kissed him after she walked off the altar, he went back to her dressing room, couldn't be me. I would have slapped him. Get the fuck out of my face, bro. Get out of my face. Because if couples could have ended their relationship this entire time, why couldn't their relationship end it? Because it seems like Clay didn't want to get married. Like, it was really, 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 really clear. Clay should have told AD about this before the altar and said, I'm not getting married to you. The reaction from AD was so genuine, so real, so raw. Like, so raw. I don't know. I mean, for me, it's definitely very interesting. I just don't understand. I really hope the reunion helps us to understand where AD's feelings is and what Clay was telling AD up until and including the altar. I just don't understand. We don't understand. I don't understand how you can be this distraught. And while she's crying, I'm crying too. I'm crying for her, because I know she wants to get married. I know she wants to. I know that she wants to finally meet her man who would choose her because she chose him. I know. I'm there. She's so desperate. I'm not desperate. She's so desperate to be in a relationship that she would do anything. Anything. She would choose the guy. She would build up the guy in the way that she wants her man to treat her, just so she can have a ring on her finger. She can get married. She can have a husband that she can call her man. I feel for AD. I do, and I get it. And when that happened, I cried. And I get it. I'm with her. You choose the guy, but the guy doesn't choose you. And you're going to have to start asking yourself, why are you choosing guys that don't choose you? That are not unapologetically all about you, verbally, through actions, through acts of service, through quality time. They're not all about you, because Clay wasn't even living with AD before they went to the altar. He wasn't even coming home. So there are a lot of warning signs, and like I would like to say, there weren't even red flags. There were red buildings. There were red buildings, and she decided to ignore it. Look, I mean, this season of Love is Blind has proven that the show, the producers, the casting directors are not here to find love. That's my conclusion. love is not blind. Love has 2200 vision. Love is not here. In fact, this is a show. This is a reality TV show. You got on the show, either you are picked by a casting director through an IG DM, or you apply, which I've been hearing that even if you apply, they don't look at the applications. In fact, they don't look at the applications. They look at people actually scout people to be on the show. Love is not blind. And because this is not about love, it's about creating the most entertaining season humanly possible. My priorities and my values, my character would not be in the best of hands if I signed up for Love is Blind Toronto. So I would not. I'm not doing it because they're not here for Love is Blind. I wish it was season 1 again. I wish it was season 1. I wish we were able to go back to all of that, minus like the horrible conditions that Netflix puts people in, but go back to a time where everybody is just, having a good time. Love is love. Everybody's honest for the most part. They're here for love. Like the people who came on Love is Blind the first few seasons actually wanted love. And a lot of them are actually still together. Like actually not because they want followers or not because they want to be famous, not because they still need therapy, not because they want to date and not get married. Like even the Asian guy on TikTok who said that, he wants to get on the show. He told the casting director, I'm not willing to get married, but I'll be on the show. Why? Okay. I used to have so much respect for this show. I really did. And I used to respect all the people who were part of the show. In the reunion trailer, I don't see Michael. Is Michael there? And why is the Lachey's still doing this reunion? I swear to God, the Lachey's are good people. They are. They're really good people. But if you botch this reunion again, after everything that has come out online, everything that's been edited like crazy, if you're not asking the hard-hitting questions, I don't want you back to do the reunion. I'm sorry. You're good people, but you can't host a reunion. You can host a show, but you cannot host a reunion. You understand? I love you. Like you though. Like you. Do not come back, bro. I'm gonna try to watch it live. I might watch it live on my Instagram, which is I'll put it on the screen. But anyways, I'll put it in the descriptions below. And anybody who's interested can definitely check me out there. I'll probably watch the reunion live. And you can see my first reactions. I will be most likely screaming at my TV and throwing food on the screen because I know the hard-hitting questions are not going to be asked. So it's just going to be fluff like, oh, what do you have to say for yourself? Are you okay? I know you went through a lot. I swear. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe. I need you guys to help me subscribe. Yep. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I'll see you guys next week where we're gonna come back and give you my review of the season finale reunion, season 6, Love is Blind. Until then, stay woke, stay safe. Bye.